real reason you haven't started is because as long as you don't try, you can still pretend you're capable. That's not an insult. That's neuroscience. That's psychology. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why your brain does this and how to make it stop. Because here's what nobody in the productivity space will tell you. You are not lazy. You are not undisciplined. You are not broken. You are protecting yourself, and your brain is doing it on purpose. Stay with me for 16 minutes, because what I'm about to show you isn't a productivity hack. It's a shift in how you see yourself. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let's start with the story you've been told. You haven't started that thing. The business, the book, the difficult conversation, the new chapter. And the world has a very simple explanation for why. You're lazy. You lack discipline. You don't want it badly enough. And here's the brutal part. You believed it. You've sat alone at night and thought, what's wrong with me? Other people do hard things. Why can't I just start? But that story is wrong, and I can prove it. A 2018 study from the University of Sheffield, one of the most cited procrastination studies of the last decade, found something that flips the whole narrative. Procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotion management problem. People don't avoid starting because starting is hard. They avoid starting because of what starting makes them feel. So the question has never been, why won't you work harder? The real question is, what emotion does starting trigger in you? And why is your brain treating it like a threat? Think about the last time you were going to start something that actually mattered. Not replying to an email, not a grocery run. Something real. What happened in your body the moment you thought about beginning? There was a tightening, a fog, a sudden need to check your phone, do more research, make one more plan before you could possibly begin. That's not laziness. That is your nervous system pulling the emergency brake, and it's doing it for a reason. Here's what they never teach you in any productivity course, self-help book, or morning routine video. Starting creates evidence, and evidence is the one thing your ego cannot survive. Right now, before you start, you are infinite. You could be brilliant. You could be the one who changes things. You could be the writer, the founder, the person who finally figures it out. That version of you lives in the space between dreaming and doing. It costs nothing. It risks nothing. And it feels incredible. But the second you start, you produce data. Real, visible, undeniable data about your actual level right now. And your ego has spent years protecting you from that data. Psychologists call this self-handicapping. Berglas and Jones identified it in 1978. The finding was uncomfortable. People don't just avoid difficult things. They actively create obstacles before high-stakes moments, so that if they fail, their true ability is never actually tested. The student who stays out all night before the exam. The entrepreneur who spends 6 months refining the plan. The artist who says the timing isn't right yet. These aren't character flaws. These are defense mechanisms, and the most invisible form of self-handicapping, the one almost nobody talks about, never starting at all. No start, no result, no result, no proof, no proof. The story survives. I could have been great if I'd really tried. Your brain isn't being lazy. Your brain is being strategic. It is protecting the most precious thing you own, the belief that you might still be capable. Let me tell you about someone. Marcus had been planning his business for 2 years. Not slacking. Planning, spreadsheets, market research. A 47-page business plan he revised 11 times. Smart guy, motivated guy. The kind of person who everyone around him said, he's going to do something big. but he never launched. And when we talked about it, he said something that I've never forgotten. As long as I'm planning, I'm still the guy with the brilliant idea. The moment I launch, I become the guy whose product either works or doesn't. That's it. That's the whole thing. Planning kept Marcus brilliant in theory. Starting would have made him measurable in reality. And his brain chose theory every single time. How many versions of Marcus are living inside of you right now? Here's why this goes so deep. Your brain has a region called the default mode network. It activates when you imagine your future self, the successful version, the capable version, the one who finally did the thing. That imagined self feels real. It feels like you. But the moment you actually sit down to begin, reality enters. And that perfect future version of you gets tested against who you actually are today. To your brain, that's not uncomfortable. That's dangerous. Here's the simplest way I can put it. A blank page doesn't feel hard. It feels exposing. Because it could prove something about you that you're not ready to know. That's why starting feels like survival. Because to your nervous system, in that moment, it is. Okay, let's turn this around. We've exposed the lie. It's not laziness. We've revealed the truth. It's ego protection disguised as caution. Now here's the shift that makes this all usable. Reality is not your enemy. Reality is the only place you have ever, or will ever, actually grow. The fear is that starting will reveal your real level, and your real level won't be enough. But here's what that fear gets completely wrong. Your real level is temporary. Your brain is neuroplastic. It rewires with every attempt, every failure, every iteration. The version of you that starts today is not the version that continues next month. They are categorically different people. Your real level is also invisible until you start. Potential without action is just a story you tell yourself. A beautiful one, but a story. The writer who never writes doesn't know what kind of writer they are. The founder who never launches doesn't know what they're capable of. The only way to outgrow where you are is to first be willing to see where you are. Here's the mental model I want you to carry out of this video. Stop being the storyteller. Become the scientist. The storyteller's entire identity is built on potential. I could be great, so the storyteller protects that potential at all costs. Because if they try and fail, the story dies. The scientist's identity is built on discovery. Let me find out. So the scientist runs experiments, and experiments cannot fail. They can only return data. When a scientist's hypothesis is wrong, they don't collapse. They update. They refine. They run the next experiment with better information than before. What if you approached your first draft, your first attempt, your first difficult conversation as experiment number 1? Not a verdict on your worth, not a measure of your ceiling, just data. Interesting. So this is where I am right now. What does that teach me? What's experiment number 2? Suddenly, starting isn't a gamble with your identity. It's just information gathering. And information is never something to fear. This is your most powerful reframe, because it changes what starting even means. Starting is no longer the moment you risk finding out you're not enough. Starting is the moment you begin finding out exactly what you're made of. One more thing before the close, and this one matters. If you want to stop fearing starting permanently, habits alone won't do it. Because habits are actions, and the brain overrides actions whenever they threaten identity. You need to shift the identity itself. Right now, you might be operating from, I'm someone who has this big idea. I want you to try on this one instead. I am someone who starts. I am someone who runs experiments with my own life. Every time you start, even badly, even awkwardly, even with a result you hate, you cast a vote for that identity. And votes accumulate. The fear doesn't vanish overnight, but every start weakens it, because every start proves to your nervous system, we survived the reality. We're still here, and we know more now than we did before. So here's where we land. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not someone who doesn't want it badly enough. You are someone whose brain has been doing exactly what brains do, protecting your identity from the risk of being measured. And now you know that, which means the protection no longer works the same way. I want to give you one challenge, just one. Think of the thing, the one you keep coming back to, the one that lives in the back of your mind even when you're not thinking about it. Now, not tomorrow, not when you're ready. I want you to take the smallest possible first step, not the whole plan, not the perfect version. One action small enough that your ego doesn't even bother to fight it. Open the document, write one sentence, send one message, make one decision out loud. Do it as a vote for the scientist, a vote for the person who finds out, rather than the person who protects the story. And if that step reveals exactly where you are right now, good, because that's information. And information is how you grow. 16 minutes ago, starting felt dangerous. Now it should feel inevitable. You don't need confidence to start. You need 10 seconds of courage. And you just spent 16 minutes building it. Go use it. Drop a comment below with the one thing you've been not starting. Just writing it down is already your first vote.